In today's episode, as the Envy King turns, we have the 2021 ZX10R that we're actually taking in today to do something special, something not many are doing right now. We have basically fully de-restricted this bike, and when I say de-restricted, I don't mean we tricked the ECU or tricked the throttle blades or forced anything to stay open. This bike is actually de-restricted, and the way that I did that is we have a Kit ECU back here that we have swapped out the harness on the bike. Now the downside is a couple downsides to that. Me personally, the reason I did this is because I don't really see a flash coming anytime soon for this bike, and I want to see what it's actually capable of now. So you got to factor in the price of a Woolwich flash versus the price of this entire kit. And then on top of that, you also, the harness that comes with the kit does not have the attachment points and the connections and everything for the lights on the bike. So that's something that I got to figure out, which I'm pretty sure I got to figure it out how I'm gonna make it work. But for now, the bike don't have lights on. It's not even set up. The rectifier has to be moved over here or up here on the front of the frame. I ordered a bracket, but I'm not sure if it's for here or here. Either way, this is going to be moved to one of those locations. But other than that, like I said, it's just the price you got to think about, and if you want to go through the hassle of wiring up your lights separately or not. Or you can keep the bike stock and restricted and hope and pray that Woolwich or FTCU or Gould come out with some type of flash for it. So today I'm gonna just take it over to Motorcycle Mall. We're gonna put it on the dyno and try to get the ECU dialed in. We can basically command 100% throttle throughout the entire range and raise the rev limit. So, all right, stand by. Let me make it over here to Motorcycle Mall, and I'll get right back with y'all. It's that time again, except for today is a special occasion. So you guys know the ECUs on these bikes are still restricted. Nobody's been able to flash the stock ECU currently. There's people out there that have done some tricks to get the throttle blades to stay open, but you guys know, like, I don't deal in gimmicks. I don't do none of that stuff. I like to do mine as straight up as possible. I'm not gonna clickbait y'all or none of that stuff. So today what y'all gonna see is my 2021 ZX10 KRT edition. Basically completely 100% a de-restricted bike. How did I do that? Well, the way that we did that is we have fitted a Kit ECU to this bike. A lot of y'all already know what the Kit ECU is. It's already been spreading around the community about it, but with what we have right now for options, we don't know when Woolwich, FTCU, Gould, any of them are gonna come out with a flash. So basically, what I'm looking at right now is that, do I want full power on my bike currently? Yes. Yes, the Kit ECU, the whole setup is way more expensive than the Woolish Flash stuff, even if you got the log set up for it. So for me, it was, I want this to happen. I want my bike de-restricted. The problem with the Kit ECU is that you don't, it deletes a lot of stuff off the bike. It basically turns it into a race bike. So in order to figure that out, you basically have to take your stock harness and I guess cut it up and take what you need to make your lights work. So we're gonna be figuring that out later, but for now we wanted to get everything on the bike and see what this bike can do de-restricted. Now because this is the Kit ECU, it's a lot of parameters in it that you can adjust to fine tune the bike to get more power out of it and just tune the rideability. So today's test, I don't know if we probably don't have enough time for Ricardo to go that in depth with it, but I'm leaving the bike with him so he can play around in the software and everything and figure some stuff out. So what you see today may not be the highest numbers that we can get out of the bike. And the bike does have 93 pump gas in it right now. So whatever happens today is on pump gas, no MR12 right now. So the bike made, we was at 189 on pump gas before, right?
So I can look it up.
I think it was 189. So now that the bike should be able to rev all the way out, which I'm not sure what the rev limit is. I think it's 14 on it in the ECU.
Pull up the information right now.
So, but once we be able to rev it all the way out, I'm pretty sure the bike should make at least, it should be over 200 or like right below it without, before he started tuning it. And then after that, it should be well over 200, I would say. That's just my guess. 189. So
189. This is on pump fuel.
all right, so that's the pump fuel numbers from before,
and you can see
over here.
Yeah, the bike stops pulling right here, but this is like makes a flat spot here, and then it just starts dying after that.
Yeah, so that's like right around 11.8, the bike stopped pulling. So you're gonna see today that the bike should go rev all the way out now. So let Ricardo get set up, and then when I come back, the bike should be running on the dyno. so we done made a couple changes in the ECU, and like I said, this is like starting from scratch when you do this, and we're learning as we go. So Ricardo's making changes within the ECU to see how it affects the bike, and so far the bike is up at 207.
Yeah, 207, 92.
So the 207, that's this bike, and then the 208 is a 2020 Richard's old bike that he tuned as well. So right now, as it sits, you know, that's where the bike is at. And like I said, he's got to play around in the ECU and figure out what's working and what's not, and that's what he's doing right now. So he's gonna put it back on there with some more change that he made and see if the bike picks up anymore. Either way, I mean, I'm happy with the way it's sitting right now, but you know, Ricardo, he's gonna pull as much as he can out of it. So Ricardo, what do you think so far, man? Like, just from what you see right now with the bike, the way it is.
The way it is.
I know we're still working on the tune, but
yeah, the way it is, I think it's pretty good. Because the base map allowed the bike right away to do like 205, something like that, with not going crazy on it. Now it's a point that you need to understand exactly what this bike likes. There is more parameters. A lot of people think that it's just fuel. It's not just fuel or ignition. There is more stuff that controls the engine, and that's exactly what we are looking for. You know?
yeah.
So like I wish that we could extract 210 to the wheel out of this thing. I don't know if it's going to be possible on pump fuel, because we know that it will make way more than that on race fuel. But
do you think the changes that from the previous gen, from 2020 to 21, just the R models, not the RRs until we get to that bike, obviously, but do you think the changes, are we seeing that from what we see so far?
It's a little bit tough to say, because I don't have a Gen 5 with exactly the same setup as yours, so mini exhaust air filter, all of that. But I think that this bike makes pretty much the same horsepower figures as the previous bike, much easier. You know, it comes like the power comes much easier. So I know as a fact that this mapping that we have going on, it's not perfect for your bike yet, and we are already there at the same level. So that means something.
Yeah. All right, y'all heard it from the man. So while the motor is different in some ways, the power output as of right now is basically the same, but the bike is making the power easier without being all finicky as far as like the AFR go and stuff like that. So
exactly.
Of course he's gonna keep messing with it, like I said, and then we're gonna just keep doing the dyno and figuring it out. So we ended at, I mean, the bike made a 208 pass, but 207 it was more consistent at. And it's about 85 foot-pounds of torque. So as you can see, the bike now rails out to about 14.5. Is that 14.5, right? Yeah.
14.5, yeah.
Yeah, so about 14.5. So rail number is gone, and that is what it's doing right now. And as I said, you know, this is a new ECU, and Ricardo's still playing around in it trying to figure stuff out. Now, if he could figure something out and find some more power, maybe not, but it's stuff in there that he can adjust to, you know, I guess make changes within the bike, how it reacts to everything. And who knows, maybe it is a couple more horsepower or something in it, but that's something that he's gonna have to do when he just sits and, you know, messes around with the software and do some back-to-back pulls, making changes here and there. Because this software is different than Woolet. It doesn't say exactly what it is you're changing. It doesn't have everything laid out. This stuff is more so of, it's in English, but then it's not in English, because it tells you that it does something that it doesn't really do. Like when we were looking for the rail limit, it doesn't have anything that says specifically that this is for the rail limiter. So you have to like kind of, with no manual, obviously, because we don't have the manual for it right now. We have to basically just kind of guess what does what and see how it affects the bike. But as of right now, that's where we're going to leave it at. And then he's waiting on the manual to come in. He's going to go through the manual and see if it's any other changes, or, you know, if anything's different than what he thinks. And then obviously if he get a chance, he'll put it back on the dyno and he'll do some pulls with changes that he made to the map and see how it affects it. So until we get this back on the dyno. And obviously once we get it dialed in where we want, we're gonna do a MR12 tune as well. But for now, pump gas, I'm happy with where it's at. My Gixxer made 199 on pump gas, and to have this bike making almost 10 horsepower more is pretty impressive to me. And like we said, it's pretty much on par with the Gen 5. And obviously it's gonna be hard for us to get a bike set up exactly like it. I mean, we do got a double R that's coming up that he's gonna be able to put on here and then compare. But again, that's the double R. It's a lot of difference between the double R and this one. So at least we'll have like kind of comparison like between the two. But as far as like how the exhaust, the wheels, different air filters and stuff like that all affects the end number on the dyno. But for me personally, like I look at the number and like I said, I'm happy with the number. If it makes more with a different setup, that's fine, because in the end, I mean, 1 or 2 horsepower here or there on the dyno really don't mean nothing for what we do. But where the bike is at right now, we're happy with it, but we know that it's possible that we can make some more changes to make the bike a little bit better. And then obviously once I get it out on the road, it's other changes in the ECU I can make to make the bike do what I needed to do a lot better than what it was. So to the next video, I'll catch you guys, and next time around we'll probably be back here on the dyno again with this bike, but doing MR12 with a different tune as well. So see you.